Welcome back. It's time for business, and I'm joined by William Edwards. Hello again, William. Starting off in the Eurozone, where things are looking even worse than expected for Spain.
Yeah, of course, we had that austerity budget, further austerity in Spain, announced last week. On Saturday, we heard that the deficit is going to be even larger than was expected. And of course, the spectre of an EU bailout is still hanging over the country.
Spain's gloomy economic outlook just got a little gloomier. Madrid has admitted it won't meet the public deficit commitments it made to the EU. While presenting the 2013 budget to Parliament on Saturday, the government revealed that Spain's 2012 public deficit will reach 7.4% of GDP. That's above the original target of 6.3% set by the European Union. Madrid says the budget deficit is inflated because it includes transfers the government made to help struggling banks. Despite the recalibrated figures, the government is putting on a tough face.
This budget is austere, strict and committed to the reduction of public deficit, but it's also an opportunity. It opens the door for hope that Spain really is a country that can overcome the crisis.
The budget revisions come as the government is facing a mounting backlash against its austerity measures. On Saturday, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Madrid for the third time in the past week. Many see Spain's tough 2013 budget, based mostly on spending cuts, as an effort to preempt the likely conditions of an international bailout.
How are the markets looking then, William?
Pretty well flat in Europe. In fact, things are opening up at the moment. Let's just take a look at the figures. Staying within very small ranges so far, as you can see there. And in Asia, meanwhile, in fact, there's public holidays in China and South Korea, so it's only Tokyo that's been open today, and that hasn't finished well. Business confidence indices in both China and Japan have pointed to a negative territory for those two countries.
Moving on to something that might give the markets a bit of a lift. A big deal in the commodities sector might be announced today.
In fact, Glencore and Xstrata in the last hour or so have said that they are going to merge. Glencore has been trying to take over Xstrata for 7 months now. These are both big commodities companies, mainly specialising in mining. They've had a hold-up over voting rights and basically executive pay, how much everyone's going to get out of this big deal, essentially. But now they have announced that they have come to a deal, and the bid itself is worth around 26 billion euros, and it could create a company that's worth 70 billion euros in all. So a huge deal. Obviously, because of the size of that deal, that will face scrutiny from competition regulators and antitrust authorities.
There's also been a development in the story of BAE Systems' plan to merge with EADS.
That's right, those two big defence companies. Well, this morning, one of the biggest shareholders, in fact, in EADS has rather thrown a spanner in the works. Lagardère is that shareholder, and they say that to them it doesn't appear that the merger plan will create value for EADS. Now, just this morning, the Financial Times has been reporting that Lagardère was a key part of a plan by France and Germany to keep control of the new company, because of course at the moment France, Germany and the UK all have important stakes in those two companies, and it's really was thought to be one of the difficult issues was going to be how they were going to work out with the new merged company, how they were all going to share out their obligations and what they got out of it. It seems now that the commercial shareholders may well be more of a problem than the government ones.
All right, now with the Paris Motor Show underway, figures out today show French car sales were down by 18% in September. Renault will be hoping its new Clio can help change that, but it'll face stiff competition from its competitor Volkswagen and its new Golf.
Getting their motors running at the Paris Auto Show, Renault's Clio 4 and Volkswagen's Golf 7. Both have long enjoyed popularity in their national markets. The German car was first made in 1974 and has sold more than 29 million since, while more than 12 million of the French make have driven out of showrooms in the past 22 years. The Clio is manufactured in France and also in Turkey, while the Golf is mainly constructed in Germany.
We produce it in Germany, the homeland of Volkswagen. We managed to establish good relations between everyone. It's a win-win situation for the employees and the company.
If we produce a model in several countries, it's for efficiency, competitivity, and it's also a question of making it more readily available for our customers.
In both models, an effort has been made to try and cut down on fuel consumption, with both cars using 3.2 litres of petrol per 100 kilometres. But what they don't use in fuel, they certainly make up in technology. The Golf is equipped with an anti-collision radar, which adjusts to the speed of the car in front of it, while the Clio has a touchscreen, which it can change the sound of the horn on to choose retro or sporty. And that's not where the gadgets end.
You can find people online that can help you find parking, and you can also get your emails. When you stop, you can read and write emails, but as soon as your car is moving, for security reasons, it reads them aloud to you.
But these added extras don't come cheap. The Clio starts at €13,700, while a base Golf model will set you back €17,800. Both car makers are hoping these latest models will give sales a turbo boost.
Now, an odd story from the US. President Barack Obama himself has been sued by a Chinese company.
Yeah, I wonder whether he'll end up in court. I don't know. It's going to be a strange one because, in fact, it's all down to the fact that on Friday, Obama himself issued an executive order saying that a company called RALS, a Chinese company, it stopped it from going ahead with a wind farm project in Oregon. Now, that sounds rather innocuous until you hear that, in fact, that wind farm happened to be next to a US Army testing range for electronic warfare and drones. So this was due to national security concerns. More details obviously weren't released, but the company says it plans to sue because, according to it, Obama violated constitutional protections on property ownership and legal process. Interesting situation. It's never really happened before. They say, of course, even the president isn't above the law, so this should be perfectly valid, but it is rather unlikely it'll go through. Still, it does really flag up the issues of how oblique the process is when it comes to national security in the US. The president can just stop a project from going ahead, and also, of course, it flags up those tensions between the US and China over trade at the moment, particularly in the renewable energy sector.
And now a story on an auction that was anything but a steal for crime aficionados.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde, of course, you'll have heard of them, the famous criminals in the US from the 1930s. Their handguns went up on sale along with various other artefacts, and actually the two handguns together, there they are, went for $500,000 at auction. They were known, of course, for kidnapping and theft and 13 murders, but obviously they became stars of the silver screen with the 1967 movie. But these handguns were picked up actually when at the shootout, which led to their deaths. And Bonnie, the woman, had her handgun strapped to her inside thigh, and Clyde had his on a waistband, and they were both given to the officer who led the ambush which led to their deaths as a kind of gift. So that's how they got to auction.
And they were sold for $500,000 for both of them?
For the both of them, yeah. So
wow,
a good deal.
All right. Thank you very much, William, for taking us through the business news. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for all the latest news with Stuart Norville in just a few minutes' time.